It's me, Erin. I'm officially a farm girl.
That's a lot of hummus, Jeremy Hall.
It is a fair bit of hummus.
In this video, we're going to talk about the difference between dreaming about living on a farm and then the reality of living on a small farm.
Welcome everybody to Blossom Barn Cidery. We just closed down the tasting room for the weekend after farmer's market and 2 days of the tasting room being open.
Have you ever dreamed about living on a small farm? The dream is very different than the reality. A lot of people romanticize the idea of living on a farm, and it seems like it will be a simpler way of life. And I think there's a couple things that definitely surprised me about moving to a farm. So the first thing that is really different about the dream of living on a farm and the reality of living on the farm is that you are closer to nature, but that nature keeps you kind of tethered to the farm. It's hard to get off of the farm, especially because of the farm animals.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that are alive, and if they don't get what they need, they die.
Right.
And whether
Animals
those
and plants.
Yeah, so there's, like Erin said, we feel really tied to this place. We really understand about the weather and the animals that come in. We're in an area with a lot of wildlife, and that's all just really amazing. But it also means that we have to make sure that everything is working, and that certain times of year require us to do certain things. I have to put the hay in the barn after baling. I can't just sit out in the field because I have other things to do. That has to go in like right away.
Because it'll get moldy or wet, and then we can't use it to feed the farm animals and to create bedding.
And then we just wasted all that time.
The water that went into growing that hay.
And we pay our neighbor who has a tractor with the mower that cuts the hay, and the rake that rakes the hay, and the baler that puts the hay in bales. So that's money that we would lose. And so just as an example, that just happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and we I will say, I was looking back at some pictures recently. Life used to be kind of more fun in a way, or like more fun more free in a way, because like we could decide, hey, we want to go to the beach this weekend and rent a place and go to the beach for the weekend. We can't really do that anymore. We have to make sure that someone in your family can take care of the farm, or a neighbor can take care of the farm. So and then because of the growing season right now, so basically we really are only free essentially in the winter, because that's the time when things are quieter on the farm as far as tending to the land, and there's still the animals to take care of, but we can plan for that in advance. We're not doing lambing anymore on this property, and in part because that was a winter activity. So if there was lambing taking place, it meant that there was no break on the farm all year long. And now that we're here, we kind of bundle up our vacation time. So we'll leave once a year for 7 to 14 days max, and we might do a weekend or two away, or I travel a lot for work, so I use that as like a take a breath off the property. So I think that's something that is a big lifestyle change for us. I mean, the perks of it are that, we get to go for our own nature walk every day. That's a mile here on the property. That's super beautiful,
And, it's not like a backyard garden. It's a farm. So, there's pastures, and you see, but when the wind comes up, the waves of grass moving, and you see all, when all the trees are in bloom or are all fruiting, you see all that abundance being created, and that's all been created by our effort to do those things. So yes, there's a tremendous benefit, but this tie to the land, this commitment to the land, is a major commitment. And unless there's more of a collaborative approach with multiple people that are working the property that can kind of look after each other, and people can leave and do other things. It really requires one of us is here all the time.
Yeah. The other thing is that I think, in all these homesteading videos and farming videos, that people make it seem like the money they make from the farm is enough to be self-sufficient. And so I think it's really important to know that if you move to a farm, a small farm, we're at 15 acres, and I would say really anything around there and size-wise, it's really hard to make a full-time living for a family. We're just 2 people in our family, but to make a living with a family of multiple kids, maybe even full-time off of the homestead, if you will. And we do make a big effort to make certain things out of our garden to lessen our footprint in a lot of ways, but the savings from growing our own fruits and vegetables and growing our, having our own eggs and everything isn't enough to replace someone's salary.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination.
No, yeah, it's definitely not. And we're making a product that's value added that people want, and people come here. We had people in the tasting room this weekend, that were here and excited about buying cider, but it's just not enough to really, the cider repays for itself, but
right.
And there's other tremendous benefits to that. That we have this piece of ground that's been in my family, and that we're able to keep it up and continue to pay the taxes and continue to operate it and make improvements and make it nicer and work on the barn and all the things. But so all that's the benefit, but it's not. The actual, even though we're having a product that's being created, it's not enough to make a lot of money from it.
If you like having projects, in the space that you live in constantly, and we were just talking about how now in this season there's a lot of weeding, so really after dinner we both together need to go out to the vegetable garden, and Jeremy's dad is slowing down a little bit, and as he should, he's 86 years old.
Right.
But that we need to take on more of the weeding, and so like in the evenings after dinner, like let's take a glass of cider out to the garden, it's gorgeous, and do some weeding for even 30 minutes. That would make a huge dent to make the garden more,
if we do that every day,
tidy, if we did that 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah, it's just those kind of things require constant attention.
Yeah.
It's,
and if you love it, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I am not a lover of weeding, and so something else we'll look at in the future is hiring someone but we have in years past hired someone to help us 14 hours a week, and really their primary job was weeding
and mowing
and how's it called? Line trimming.
Yeah, weed whacking,
yeah. Right.
And that's really
if you want to start a business out in the country, weed whacking.
But it's so seasonal is the thing.
It is, but then you can make a bunch of money in that
yes.
time if you're willing to work long hours.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of people say, well, you need a high school kid. Well, the high school kids are out now, but we needed that back in April and May.
Yeah.
That's when we need the help.
Yeah.
Like now things are slowing down in that way.
Yeah.
So.
We do make this great value-added product that is cider, and so we're enjoying that right now. And there's really nothing that beats that feeling, that satisfied feeling of knowing that Jeremy set up this irrigation system, planted all these trees. I helped a little, and we worked with neighbors to help make this cider, and we're enjoying it. And then other people come here. We had guests this week from, you said Iowa, and where else?
Let's see, Nevada, and Florida, and then several local people in Oregon. We have regulars that come,
and then
neighbors that come, and so that's great.
Pretty special.
And that people love it. People think that it's so peaceful and beautiful here.
And it is.
And it is peaceful and beautiful here.
But we have to force ourselves to make time. Like we had dinner, I don't know, the other day sitting out on the patio, and it's so beautiful. Anyway, lots of perks, but the true story of living on a small farm is that it does require a lot of work. It's great if you do not have internal passion to travel a lot. I think if you just had a vegetable garden, you know, you could travel more, but having a farm means having animals. And so those animals definitely require you to be on the property a lot more, or to have money to have farm hands come and stay, or
a house sitter or a farm sitter.
A farm sitter, essentially, yeah. So if you're willing and have funds for that, then obviously you can do that. There's lots of creative ways to do it, but at least the way we're doing it means that we can't travel all that much right now, unless only during specific time periods, and that we need jobs outside of the farm in order to make ends meet. So, which is fine, because I kind of need that. I couldn't be on the property 365 days a year. I would go batty.
Digging holes and putting up fence posts. And,
oh my God. I would be a lot stronger, but I would probably be miserable. Anyway, so I hope this helps you as you're considering, or dreaming into moving on to a small property. And drop in the comments if you have any questions, or if you faced a similar thing, or if you have managed to be more free and able to make decisions on the fly about going away for the weekend. And you do live on a farm. How have you done that? Tell us. Teach us your ways. So, anything else? Okay. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for all of our new subscribers, and we're really having fun with this. Okay. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Cheers.